Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stoic Compass. I'm Jim Walker, and today we're talking about why the internet is making me anxious, and I don't even know why.
Spoiler alert, it's the algorithms. I'm Eleanor Vance, and today we're exploring how ancient Stoic wisdom can help you deal with modern machine overlords.
Before we dive into my complete lack of control over my own preferences, hit that like and subscribe button. Though, honestly, the algorithm probably already decided whether you're going to see this video.
Dark but accurate.
So I read this article about algorithmic anxiety, and Ellie, it perfectly describes this creeping feeling I've had for years but couldn't name.
Tell me about it.
It starts with this woman named Valerie who suddenly found herself buying leg warmers. She always thought they were hideous, but they kept appearing on her TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere.
And she bought them anyway?
On an almost subconscious whim. She wore them a few times, and now they're in the back of her closet. The same thing happened with expensive Van Cleef jewelry.
So the algorithm convinced her she wanted things she didn't actually want.
Exactly. She wrote to a fashion critic saying, "I've been on the internet for 10 years, and I don't know if I like what I like or what an algorithm wants me to like."
That's genuinely disturbing and very unstoic.
How so?
The Stoics were obsessed with self-knowledge. Marcus Aurelius wrote constantly about examining your own thoughts and desires. If you can't tell what you actually want versus what you've been manipulated into wanting, you've lost touch with yourself.
But here's the thing. It's not like traditional advertising. A billboard or TV commercial you know you're being marketed to. With algorithms, it feels like the content just organically appeared.
Which makes it more insidious. The manipulation is invisible.
Right. No one brand was promoting leg warmers to Valerie. The algorithm just decided that's what she was going to see based on, what? Her browsing history? What other people like her clicked on?
And that's where algorithmic anxiety comes in. You're constantly guessing how these systems are influencing you, feeling misperceived or manipulated.
The article defines it perfectly. That unsettling feeling that the computer is more in control of your choices than you are.
Which directly contradicts the Stoic principle of self-governance. Epictetus said the only thing we truly control is our own will and judgment.
But do we? If I don't even know whether I genuinely want something, or the algorithm planted that desire?
That's the crisis. You've outsourced your judgment to a machine without realizing it.
Okay, so let me explain what algorithms actually are, because I had to look this up.
Please do.
In math, an algorithm is just a set of steps for a calculation. But online, we're talking about recommender systems, software that sorts and suggests content based on various factors.
They've been around since the 90s, right?
Yeah. Xerox built one in 1992 to rate emails by relevance. MIT made a music recommendation system called Ringo. Google's original search used PageRank.
But they weren't everywhere like they are now.
Right. It wasn't until the mid-2010s that they took over. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all shifted from chronological feeds to algorithmic ones.
I remember when that happened. Suddenly your feed wasn't showing posts in order anymore.
And that's when things got weird. What you saw was never the same as what anyone else saw. The platforms became unpredictable, opaque.
So you lost control over your own information stream.
Completely. And now it's everywhere. Google Maps reroutes you mid-journey using unspecified variables. Seamless suggests menu items based on your ordering habits. Your email predicts what you're about to type.
The article describes it like an obnoxious party guest who finishes your sentences.
Perfect analogy. Every app is trying to guess what you want before your brain has time to come up with its own answer.
And the Stoic in me is screaming, this violates the principle of deliberate action. You're not making conscious choices anymore.
There's this great quote from a music writer who says, "Spotify drained the joy from listening because it short-circuits organic discovery." Even though it has all the music he wants, nothing feels rewarding or personal anymore.
Because the algorithm removed the element of agency. You didn't discover that song. It was served to you.
Exactly. And scholars have come up with terms for this. There's algorithmic imaginary and algorithmic recognizability.
What do those mean?
Algorithmic imaginary is how we collectively imagine and talk about these systems. People develop folk theories about how they work.
Like conspiracy theories, but for algorithms?
Kind of. And algorithmic recognizability is when you shape what you post to maximize visibility. It's like turning toward a microphone to be heard.
So people are changing their behavior to appease the algorithm.
Which brings us to this fascinating study about Airbnb hosts. They were so anxious about their algorithm ranking that they developed completely irrational strategies.
Like what?
Logging in repeatedly throughout the day, constantly updating availability, marking their listings as child-safe even when they weren't, all because they thought it would boost their visibility.
Did any of that actually work?
Nope. Airbnb couldn't confirm it had any effect, but the hosts were so anxious they kept doing it anyway.
That's like making sacrifices to an unpredictable god hoping for favor. Very unstoic. The Stoics would say you're wasting energy on things outside your
The
control.
researcher described it as workers being overseen by a computer overlord instead of human managers. They had to guess what their capricious boss wanted.
And the anxious guessing probably made the whole system less efficient.
Exactly. Now, the author surveyed over 100 people about their experiences with algorithms, and the responses were fascinating.
What did they say?
One guy said after he became single, Instagram started recommending model accounts. Another was mystified when the same Soundgarden song appeared on every platform at once.
The algorithm trying to predict their
Or
mood?
just randomly coinciding. People complained that recommendations oversimplify their tastes, offering worse versions of things they like with superficial similarities.
So the algorithm reduces you to a crude stereotype.
And here's the depressing part. All but 5 people said algorithmic feeds had taken up more of their online experience over the years.
It's inescapable.
One person said they'd stopped caring, but only because they didn't want to live with constant anxiety.
That's resignation, not acceptance. The Stoics would distinguish between the two.
What's the difference?
Resignation is giving up. Stoic acceptance is acknowledging reality while maintaining your agency within it. You can accept that algorithms exist without letting them control your choices.
But how? The article points out that when we talk about the algorithm, we're really talking about the entire extractive technology industry.
It's a proxy for our whole complicated relationship with technology.
Right. The algorithm becomes a metaphor for everything we're uneasy about online. Surveillance, monopolization, platforms taking over our leisure time.
It's the ultimate digital other. We've personified it.
And tech companies keep their systems deliberately opaque to prevent secrets from leaking and to manage user behavior.
Which makes the anxiety worse. You can't understand what you can't see.
There was one engineer at Facebook who built a feature called "Why Am I Seeing This Post?" You could click any item and see what algorithmic variables caused it to appear.
That sounds incredibly
It
useful.
was. But now it's only available for ads. When the author tried it on regular posts, most just said they were popular compared to other posts.
So they removed the transparency.
Completely. Which forces us to develop home remedies. Remember Valerie with the astrology accounts?
What
She
happened?
followed some astrology accounts. Twitter flooded her feed with astrological content. She got tired of it. She says she began fearing for her life every time Mercury was in retrograde.
That's
But
hilarious.
Twitter kept pushing it. She clicked not interested for months, and the alternatives Twitter suggested were also astrology related.
The algorithm wouldn't let her escape.
It's like the Hotel California of content recommendations. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
So what's the Stoic response to all this? Because clearly, just accepting algorithmic control isn't the answer.
The article mentions people seeking out non-algorithmic spaces. The author joined Glass, a photo app with chronological feeds.
How was
He
it?
says it was pleasant and pristine, but there wasn't enough content because his friends hadn't joined. The major platforms have too much gravitational pull.
So you can create buffers but not blockades.
Exactly. The fashion critic's advice to Valerie was to explore her tastes outside social media. Adopt a rabbit hole mentality, read footnotes, let one thing lead to another.
That's very Stoic, actually. Take active control of your attention and curiosity.
But even that's hard. The author went to Etsy and was greeted with automatically generated recommendations. Is there really a curator who loves German tote bags and monogrammed mugs?
Probably not. So let me synthesize the Stoic approach here.
Please do, because I'm feeling pretty hopeless.
First, recognize what's in your control. You can't control the algorithm, but you can control how you interact with it. That's the dichotomy of control.
Okay, go on.
Second, practice self-examination. Regularly ask yourself, do I genuinely want this, or was I influenced? Marcus Aurelius would pause and question his own desires constantly.
Like a mental audit.
Exactly. Third, don't resign yourself to algorithmic control. That's passive acceptance. Instead, actively choose how you engage. Seek out chronological feeds, curated newsletters, direct recommendations from real humans.
Create intentional pathways through content.
Right. Fourth, recognize that algorithmic anxiety is partly about your own loss of agency. The Stoics would say, reclaim it. Don't let convenience become unconsciousness.
So I should delete TikTok?
If you find yourself buying leg warmers you hate, Maybe. But more importantly, be conscious when you're using it. Notice when you're passively consuming versus actively choosing.
That requires a lot of mental energy, though.
It does. But the Stoics believed that's what separates us from animals, the capacity for rational self-governance. Don't surrender that to a machine.
Okay, I'm genuinely going to try this. Starting with examining why I keep getting motorcycle stunt videos on Instagram.
Do you like motorcycle stunts?
I have no idea, that's the problem.
Then there's your homework. Figure out if it's genuine interest or algorithmic suggestion. And if it's the latter, consciously choose something else.
This episode might actually change my behavior. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of algorithms, anxiety, and ancient wisdom, everyone.
Until next time, take control of your attention, question your desires, and remember that you're not obligated to let a machine decide what you like.
And if you start fearing for your life during Mercury retrograde, maybe unfollow those accounts.
Solid advice. This podcast is powered by VoxCrea.ai, where ideas find their voice.